Hello everybody and welcome to the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium in Madrid. It's the day that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, the home debut of a certain young Brazilian called Robinho, who is straight into the Real Madrid side. He will partner Ronaldo as Real Madrid entertain newly promoted Celta Vigo. Madrid have to be hot favourites tonight, but there is one major surprise in store. We're live on World Sport Weekend in high definition. I'm Paul Giblin, and as usual, I'm joined by Mr. Sid Lowe. Sid, what's the surprise?
Well, the surprise, as you say, everyone was really looking forward to seeing Robinho make his debut. This lad here, who was absolutely sensational in the 24 minutes he made of a debut in the first game away. This is, of course, his first game at home. But even that has been slightly overshadowed by the man who's not on the pitch for Real Madrid, the captain, Raúl.
Exactly, Raúl González, who's been the heart and the soul of this Madrid team for a long, long time, is on the substitutes bench.
It's a real shock, and it could be a real message as well.
Manda, keep an eye out there for Celta Vigo. Baiano, that big Brazilian striker. Another Brazilian, there he is with the beast. There you have a chance to see Julio César Baptista swap the red of Sevilla for the white of Madrid. Baiano was at Malaga last season, scored 9 goals in just 17 appearances, so pretty impressive. We've got a Brazilian attacking trident. We've got Ronaldo, Robinho. Everyone thought it was going to be the 3 R's, and Raúl. It's actually Raúl. It's actually Baptista. Just at the moment, just the captain of the Real Madrid basketball team who won the Liga ACB in Spain is just receiving the applause of the crowd. There he is on the right there, Antonio Herreros, who has just also decided to hang up his boots. He's now going to be on the technical staff at the Madrid basketball team. Incredible final in the basketball.
Fantastic, wasn't it? It really was amazing.
You will have a chance to see more EuroLeague basketball later on in the year, live on World Sport. Our van will be scouring Europe for the best basketball, but Madrid, they won it in the last seconds with the last throw of the last game of the playoffs against Causa Ramírez. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and it was really taken as a huge success by the club as well. It's been a while, but basketball at Real Madrid has been struggling for a little bit. Fantastic result.
We're just going to, before the game starts, we're here very quickly go for the Celta lineup. It's Pinto, Albinho, Ángel, Núñez, Gustavo López, Placente, Contreras, Baiano, Sergio, Canobio and Irini. Just as the stadium has a minute's silence because one of the Celta players, Everton Giovanella, his father unfortunately died yesterday. A very impressive minute silence again there for the Celta player Everton Giovanella, who would have been playing the squad today except for obviously his family tragedy. Right, here's the Real Madrid side, so with that big surprise. Íker Casillas, Míchel Salgado, Roberto Carlos, Iván Helguera, Julio Baptista, Ronaldo, Robinho, Guti back in the side, Thomas Gravesen, Paco Pavón, who's kept his place despite Sergio Ramos being their new signing, and David Beckham.
I was just wondering if Roberto Carlos has nicked himself shaving his head there.
Well, indeed. Of course, Real Madrid, has to be said, presented to the crowd as a new Real Madrid player on Thursday. Sergio Ramos signed for 27 million euros from Sevilla just before the transfer deadline. He's only had 2 days training, so Wanderlei Luxemburgo probably thought best thing, keep Pavón in the side.
Yeah, that's one of the other question marks. I mean, you know, we've seen with Raúl not playing, or at least not starting today. That's one of the big question marks is how they rotate those forwards, but also the back. As you say, they've just bought Sergio Ramos, the most expensive defender in Spanish football.
First touch there from Robinho, setting up Baptista. Baptista surging forward. Roberto Carlos storms through there, the Brazilian fullback. Looks up, crosses it to the far post. All the way across the penalty area, but very promising first touch from Robinho.
Fantastic. Although, at the end of the move, actually, Roberto Carlos waited far too long. It was as if the ball didn't quite sit for him. Maybe perhaps it was spinning in front of him, but he seemed very, very slow, very reluctant to put the ball across the box. When he finally did, was a disappointing delivery.
I think Celta are going to get 3 or 4 players around Robinho from the start. One of them likely to be Irini, a former Rayo Vallecano midfielder, who was
good player.
Joined, very good. He went surprisingly spent a season playing in Segunda B. He's basically back where he belongs, young Brazilian, another Brazilian.
Well, Celta have their fair share. Same when Givanella's not playing, he's Brazilian. Got Irini in there, got Baiano up front.
There is Irini just opening the ball out to Antonio Núñez back at the club. He began his career. Antonio Núñez was at Madrid 2 seasons ago. You probably remember him playing when Carlos Queiroz was in charge. Spent last season at Liverpool, played 18 games for the European champions. Didn't really work out for him, and now he's back in Spain.
No, I mean to be honest, it really didn't work out for him. And he was bought as a squad player. I don't think there was any set. I mean, he was part of the Michael Owen deal. There was no sense that he was going to be a really key player for the side. But he played less than he anticipated, and I think he even played less than the local manager Rafael Benitez anticipated as well.
Lest we forget Michael Owen, of course, who is no longer a Real Madrid player, joined Newcastle United for 24 million euros. I think a little bit over the odds there, Newcastle, but obviously that deal helped finance Madrid's late swoop for Ramos.
Yeah, Owen's made his debut today. In fact, for Newcastle, 1-1 draw. Unfortunately, Michael didn't manage to get on the score sheet this time.
I think he might have just started on the bench. Something he's probably quite used to.
Well, that's it. I mean, it was on the headlines in the Spanish paper was that Owen starts as a sub, and I thought, well, we've seen that one before.
There's Angel for Celta. Celta, who spent 1 year in the second division. They were relegated 2 years ago as Roberto Carlos shows no favours to his former teammate Núñez. Referee plays on. It'll be interesting to see if he actually draws Roberto Carlos' attention. The referee Ramírez Domínguez doesn't even have a word with him.
No, Núñez seems to be looking at Roberto Carlos as if to say, is that really necessary?
Another big factor today, Íker Casillas, only 24 years old, the Real Madrid goalkeeper, making his 200th league appearance.
Fantastic.
He's going to break, all things being equal, he could go on to break all of the records. The Madrid appearance record in goal is Paco Bullo, who made 300 and... let's find my notes. I've lost them.
300 and something.
300 and something.
But only Íker Casillas, I mean, the amazing thing about that is his 200 performances, 200 appearances for Real Madrid, 200 very, very good appearances for Real Madrid.
Sorry, 343 appearances. In his 299 previous games, Casillas has conceded 213 goals.
Which is actually quite a few for a side as good as Real Madrid.
Side, yeah.
But I tell you what, if it had been another goalkeeper,
it would be more.
Substantially more goals than that.
There's Irini looking sharp in midfield again. Ball forward to Baiano. Certainly want to keep an eye on this. Is this man here, Canobio, Uruguayan. Signed on loan from Valencia last year to help them get out of the second division. Had such a good season that they made the deal permanent. Canobio, another one of those players that Valencia bought, didn't really work out. Still Celta though, bright start.
Certainly, I'm not entirely sure why Celta are playing in their second kit. Sort of.
Well, the normal colours are sky blue.
Yeah. Well, they're normally allowed to play in sky blue. It's not normally considered so light as to be a clash with Real Madrid.
Certainly, last time they played here, maybe they want to look more like Roma. But
well, I was just thinking that.
But Roma tend to get beaten here as well.
They do.
The ball back with Pinto, giving it to Sergio. Good defender, Sergio. They
think
signed a long time ago
defender.
from Sporting. Had all sorts of injury problems during his career, though. Otherwise, general feeling is he could well have been a Spain international. Good turn from Baiano. Got the pace to get past Pavón and Roberto Carlos. Back quickly. Concedes a corner.
Good challenge from Roberto Carlos. Yeah, I think you're right about Sergio. I think for a long time, when he was coming up as a young player at Sporting Gijón, he looked so impressive. And as you say, he just never really had the continuity he needs because of such a long string of injuries.
He seems to get one after the other, doesn't he? He had to get injury-free last year. It's a decent corner, but just tried to be a little bit too clever there, Canobio. Wants to get in quickly, though. Angels back with Canobio. Trying to work a shooting chance back, gives it to Núñez. Took a little deflection. Still Celta looking lively in these first few minutes.
Thought Albinho should have shot, to be honest. He picked the ball up on the edge of the area. looked to play it wide to Baiano, but he had time and space to get a shot off. And from the edge of the box, you've got a decent chance.
Yeah, Albania, one of the products of the Celta youth policy. Interesting this season. They've still got quite a lot of players who were in the team that was relegated, such as Contreras, Sergio, Pinto, Angel. But they've made 14 signings since being promoted, Celta now, and some of them are pretty good ones. Has to be said.
I think they've bought very, very well this summer. I think Baiano's an excellent signing.
That was a great signing. And here they come again. It's again Cannobio trying to direct the attack. Doesn't seem to quite know where to go. Looks for Baiano. Here is Baiano, and Pavón concedes the corner.
Well, you're absolutely right. Cannobio looked
for 1 second, but then in the end he picked up the right pass.
He turned out, in the end, as you say, he produced exactly the right pass, but he clearly wasn't sure what to do as he burst through. You could see him slowing up, looking around, trying to work out what to do. Good pass to Baiano. If Baiano had managed to just keep it on his right foot, he maybe would have kept it away from Pavón, but as he turned to go towards turned just slightly inside to go to his left foot, Pavón made a very good challenge.
As it is, another corner which Cannobio will take. Left foot. Looking for the far post, he's got up there, and that's 1-0 to Celta. Well, there's the major surprise here in the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. It's Contreras. Pablo Contreras has put it in, the Chilean central defender, and I tell you what, he will be a very happy man, because last Saturday he was also playing against Robinho, Ronaldo and Baptista. Last Saturday, Chile were beaten 5-0 by Brazil in a World Cup qualifier, and Contreras played in the Chile team and had a pretty torrid time, but as he is, he's opened the scoring. 1-0 to Celta Vigo.
Incidentally, I wasn't sure if possibly the first one that bounced down.
Let's have a look. I've got a chance to have a look at it
anyway.
As Baiano gets up, hits Knight, hits the post, and there Contreras.
Now, of course, we've said this a million times, but it doesn't make it any less valid. If there is any side that can afford to go a goal down, it's Real Madrid, because so many times we've seen them start sluggishly. It's not actually that they've started sluggishly, but they have gone 1-0 down. Start poorly and come back, because they just have so much attacking quality.
Well, exactly. Not a great way for Casillas to begin his bicentenary, however. Has to be said. Thinking of the dugouts, the Celta coach Fernando Vázquez. He's never won at the Bernabéu, and 7 trips to the Bernabéu. His last 2 trips, when one of the games actually was on World Sport. He was a Valladolid coach 2 years ago. You may remember very early when Beckham did just join the club. Real Madrid beat Valladolid 7-2. They absolutely wiped the floor with him. Well, Fernando Vázquez was coaching that game. The year previously, he was the coach at Las Palmas, who didn't do as well as Valladolid. They lost 7-0. So he's obviously got a bit of a cloud hanging over him at this ground.
That Las Palmas game was incredible as well. Fernando Morientes scored 5, 4 of them with his head, and then missed a penalty, which would have made him the first player ever to score 6 goals for Real Madrid in a single game. He missed a penalty, and as everyone pointed out, the problem was that he didn't take it with his head. Yeah.
But still, very lively start from Celta. Here they come again. This time it's Angel looking to thread the ball forward. Cannobio has been very lively, hasn't he, the Uruguayan. Here's Robinho. The crowd willing him to do something. Looking to link with Ronaldo. Was the handball there? Possibly. Crowded out there. And Contreras completes the clearance. Wants to get on with it. Robinho, 21 years old, signed from Santos after, let's be honest, a rather long transfer saga for 24 million euros, so the club said.
Yeah, there's been some dispute about what the final figure actually was.
Here he is again, though, looking to set up Guti. It's all very untidy, but once again, Celta scrambling it clear. Gravesen back to Helguera.
What Celta are doing, although they haven't as the Spanish phrase goes, although they haven't turned up and parked the bus on the goal line, they are playing with the back four very, very closely protected by the entire midfield four, and they are presenting Madrid with quite an important problem there. There's just too many bodies in the way at the moment.
Baptista this time giving the ball away. Once again, Celta looking to break forward. This time it's Gustavo López, another Argentinian international, former Argentinian international, to Placente. signed this summer from Bayer Leverkusen, very experienced fullback. Played the Champions League final
against Real Madrid.
Yeah, Bayano nearly getting in the end of that. I think poor old Pavon's got drawn a short straw tonight, having to deal with Bayano, which is perhaps not what he would have wanted with Sergio Ramos on the bench, because the general feeling is that Ramos will come in for Pavón sooner or later.
I think it's not what he wants, but I think that may also be part of the thinking of him playing tonight, because Sergio Ramos hasn't yet had time really to train with his teammates, really to work on that partnership with Helguera, because central defence really is about two players. It's not about just a couple of guys thrown in. It's about how they work together, and I think there probably is a sense that Bayano's a dangerous player. Have Pavón in for now, because him and Helguera know how each other play.
There's Angel getting the challenge in. Easy pass, a lot of space there for Núñez to collect the ball. They still haven't quite worked out that left flank, Madrid, have they? There's Baptista playing there at the moment, inside to Guti. Guti to Ronaldo. Desperate challenge from Contreras. David Beckham. Got Roberto Carlos left if he looks, gives it instead to Robinho. Looks to the ball through, and that's easy for Pinto.
They are very, very narrow at the moment, Real Madrid. Very narrow indeed.
I think when we looked at the lineup and we saw Guti was in, we thought, well, it's pretty straightforward. Guti will play on the left, and they'll bring Baptista in from into the middle. Baptista's played a couple of games in pre-season, started Madrid's opening game against Cadiz on the left, and it's not quite adapted to that system at the moment. It seems to be Baptista more than Guti who's taken up that left-sided position. Across to the far post, and Roberto Carlos.
What Real Madrid have, really, is a line of three across the middle, but it's a very narrow line of three, which is Gravesen in the middle, Beckham slightly to his right, Baptista slightly to his left, and then Guti in front of them.
Powering through there, Baptista, but it showed a bit too much to Angel.
I know, I've said it before, but personally, I think Julio Baptista is wasted on the left side. I mean, if I was a centre-back, and I saw Baptista and Ronaldo running at me, I'd be terrified. I can't see how there can be a solution to this that doesn't involve Baptista playing centrally.
It seems a little bit strange. But these things do seem to have a habit of working themselves out with time. There is Baptista to Robinho. Everyone appealing for handball. I think it was probably off Contreras' chest.
I thought that was a rather hopeful appeal, actually, from the Madrid players. That is the chest. Basically, it might even be his chin.
Then Contreras in turn appealing for handball from Robinho. Ronaldo dropping a little bit deep. There, Beckham intelligent pass to Robinho. Good movement from Robinho off the ball. And Sergio gets the foot in, and Núñez, Roberto Carlos behind him again. Good turn of speed from Núñez there. Gravesen goes across. Not known for taking prisoners, Tommy Gravesen.
And that time, as you said that, I was thinking, you're right, he's going to absolutely hammer him, but in fact he didn't, Gravesen.
No. A little bit more space now for Madrid. Celta just push men forward with this attack.
Robinho is coming and getting the ball all over the pitch at the moment. He wants it everywhere.
Well, he's obviously very excited at this debut. It's a moment he's waited for a long time, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he has. But it is interesting to see just how much he's dropping to get the ball, which is, as I say, another reason why I don't understand why. Because at the moment it's Robinho and Ronaldo. Hang on just a second.
Tried the back heel flick there. Robinho deflected by Sergio. Once again, the Brazilian trying to get the crowd going.
But because of the way Robinho is playing, it seems even more logical that Baptista should end up more or less alongside Ronaldo.
Corner's cleared though, goes to Canobio. Look for Gustavo López, but not much Gustavo could do with that one. Of course, if you do enjoy watching Brazilian football, we've got a bit of a treat for you tomorrow on World Sport, live at 3 o'clock East Coast time. We were in Seville on Tuesday for Sevilla's centenary game, and they entertained no lesser team than Brazil. Baptista just wide. It was quite an interesting night in the Pijuan because there was Robinho, Ronaldo, Baptista, Ronaldinho, all of the stars on show.
Yeah. One to watch, very definitely.
It's just a warm-up for a good week of football. On Thursday, we're back in the UEFA Cup. 2:30 East Coast time. Auxerre against Levski Sofia. Auxerre got to the quarter-finals last year. Only beaten by the by the eventual champion CSKA Moscow. So certainly one to put down in the diary.
And a little bit of a surprise that they got back in as well, wasn't it?
Won the French Cup. And on Sunday we will be back in the Vicente Calderón to see Atletico Madrid against Barcelona. First chance to see the reigning league champions this season. There's Beckham. Madrid starting to get on top now. Guti to Roberto Carlos. Once again, Robinho looking for the ball everywhere. Back with Beckham. It's a great ball from Beckham. And Míchel Salgado, edge of the area, couldn't quite line up the shot. With Contreras, intelligent ball out to Gustavo López. Celta quite confident to play that one back.
Yeah, he took a little bit of a gamble by Anna, but he was forced all the way back. In the end, he had very little choice to make that pass.
There's Ubiña. Gustavo López robbed and a little bit delayed. It could have maybe gone in there, Contreras, as it is. Robinho to Ronaldo over the bar, but the first real Brazilian connection there.
Yeah, and Ronaldo probably should have scored. It fell, I think, very, very slightly behind him, and more importantly, perhaps fell on his left foot. But that is the last thing Celta want to do. They can't afford to lose the ball.
Great pass.
Great pass
on
but
Robinho.
I think it's fractionally behind Ronaldo, which is why he then scoots it up slightly with his left foot. Celta cannot afford to lose the ball in those areas, because what they then do is, of course, they present it to Madrid with them out of position and with not that many players back. So long as they stay behind the ball, they can lose the ball up the pitch, fine. They can't lose it there.
No, I think Contreras was a little bit hesitant as well. I think he possibly could have gone in on Guti. Beckham dropping inside a lot himself. There's a lot of debate about that, where he should be playing. Certainly in England there has been. Baptista. Roberto Carlos going all the way, just seems to fall over the ball. No foul. Beckham battling. And this time Ramírez Domínguez penalising the Englishman.
Celta again, though, there, I think, ran the risk of playing themselves into trouble as they were trying to get out. Ronaldo very, very nearly found his way through.
Baiano. Well, just look at quality player, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a very good player.
It was a big morale boost for Celta because their local, well, their neighbours and really quite bitter local rivals, Deportivo La Coruña, were also after Baiano, and Celta, despite being a team that had just come up from the second division, were the ones who actually managed to seal the signing.
Deportivo, I think, this summer have been hampered by economic problems. They've really not bought as many players as they'd have liked. Sold a couple as well, in particular Albert Luca to Newcastle.
Yeah, another player got to Newcastle. Sam Núñez just doing enough there on Baptista. No Zinedine Zidane, of course, today for Real Madrid. Frenchman will be out for 3 weeks, pulled a groin muscle against the Republic of Ireland, playing for France on Wednesday.
Well, that's what makes Raúl's absence even more remarkable. Is it's not that Raúl's out because there are far too many players. Zidane is out, and Raúl still isn't inside.
Míchel Salgado once again doing a great job in defence. It's amazing that it looks like he could be leaving the club in the near future.
Ludicrous. Yeah, you can't ask more from your right back than what Míchel Salgado has given this club.
Well, Madrid have signed another Brazilian, Cicinho. We'll have a chance to see him as well tomorrow. He came on in the second half. Basically, he'll be coming to Madrid in January when the transfer window reopens, and everything points to him going straight into the side. They've also, of course, got Carlos Diogo, who they signed during the summer, and it looks as if Mitchell's going to be forced out.
It's incredible, and it really is incredible to say that you can't ask a player to do more than he's done over the last 6 or 7 years, but in particular over the last 2 or 3 seasons, when he has been the best right back in Spain by a long way.
There's nobody near challenging him for the Spain national team. Nobody. And you go through the Primera Liga, and there's nobody as good as him. Roberto Carlos talking about Thomas Gravesen. Thomas Gravesen just doing the job. Simple, straightforward job. He's not going to be doing anything special. He knows that all he has to do is just keep the ball moving, make the tackles, leave the magic to players like Robinho, Ronaldo, Baptista. And this man, David Beckham. Once again, looking for that ball, that defence splitting past Beckham. As it is, Celta, Conobio, Gravesen.
Well, that's exactly what you're saying. That's Gravesen's role, is to make sure that no one can launch a quick counter-attack on Madrid.
Ronaldo beat the offside there, cut inside, and Pinto produced a very good save there.
Very good save, particularly because the ball was so low. Got down very, very well, Pinto. Celta, they're just starting to invite Real Madrid onto them a little bit. They're defending that a little bit too deep. You can't really allow Ronaldo to be having shots as close to goal as that. They need to try and force Madrid that a little bit further away.
Beckham with the corner. And the referee.
Penalising Helguera, I think. I'm not really sure what for.
Helguera, with that slightly bemused expression of his, puts his head down, jogs back to his central defensive position. Talking about Salgado, another player who I suspect will be leaving at the end of the season. Ivan Helguera's contract's up. They've delayed contract renewal talks. They've signed Sergio Ramos. They've got Jonathan Woodgate.
It doesn't look good for Helguera, does it? It really doesn't.
He's 30. Well, saying that, David Beckham's 30, but they seem quite happy to talk about renewing his contract.
Well, as Ivan Helguera actually pointed out in the press, he said, I don't really understand why some players can have their contracts renewed when there's 2 years left to run, and mine, you know, his is running down to under a year now, and there's been no real advance in talks at all.
Well, they said they were going to start at the end of the season. Here's Ronaldo again. Contreras clearing. It's just pity for Celta that Conobio couldn't control that one. He could have had a nice break going. As it is, it's back with Madrid. Starting to camp a bit close to the Celta area. Robinho wide.
Yeah, they are. I mean, this is what I was saying before. Celta are allowing, well, maybe not allowing, being forced to play far too deep, and they need to push Madrid away from there.
Let's have a look.
Not least because, of course, the more that happens, the more nervous they'll get, the more they'll dive into challenges. You saw on the edge of the area. You give too many free kicks away against Real Madrid, and David Beckham will punish you in the end.
Or Roberto Carlos, or Baptista.
I dare say Robinho can probably take
I
at least
suspect
a free
he's not
kick.
bad. Possible handball there, but here's Baiano again, running at the defence.
Well, I tell you, if he dropped it.
Given away, Conobio. Can he line at the shot? Conobio deflected, and Íker Casillas collects it.
So if Baiano had dipped his left shoulder and gone to the right, I think he'd have got away then. He'd have got away then, and I think he would. Well, I'm not saying he would have scored, but he'd have been one-on-one with Casillas.
Very good quick throw out there from Íker Casillas, winning Madrid a free kick. And once again, Ronaldo's getting in there, Sergio.
It's the second time Sergio slipped, and the second time that despite slipping, he's managed to get his foot in.
David Beckham winning the ball.
Strong Gravesen is.
Of course, Madrid have now got Pablo García on the bench as well, the former Osasuna midfielder. Robinho. So one of those little bicycle kicks. Sergio goes across, still Robinho. It's taking past 4 players. Wanted to do it again though. Intelligent pass from Guti. Salgado tries to battle his way through. And in the end,
Placenta did well. It was a little bit risky, but he was in a position where he didn't really have any choice but to try and get the ball away, because if he just said, right, I'm going to cut my losses and give away a throw-in, that's not a great place to do it. So, yeah, he did well. But I do think there have been times when Celta have just stalled on the ball a little bit and just invited Real Madrid to push them back a bit too much.
Roberto Carlos. Oh, Sergio, did he deflect that? Pinto had to be down very, very quickly.
I must admit, it's a little bit of a surprise that Pinto's playing with Celta having bought Esteban. I know the sense was that Esteban would be first choice, but Pinto's had a good start to the game, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was first choice all last season, so it was a difficult promotion. They bounced straight back, I mean, but it was at times a nervy campaign for Celta last year. Robinho again. Ronaldo, has he got shooting chance? Ronaldo, so many players around him. Robinho, no offside. Just no space for Madrid in that penalty area, but as Roberto Carlos tried to earn a little bit there. Irini just gets a slight contact on him.
You were saying in Celta it was a tough promotion from them. They actually came up twice in a funny
It's a long
way.
story. We'll tell you that after David Beckham takes the free kick.
I think he might shoot, you know.
Certainly a possibility. There he is, Beckham. A dangerous ball fired low across the area. Oof, Irini absolutely took him out there, played the man rather than the ball. That just gives Beckham a second chance. I want to see a more favourable angle for him. Look at this, he just goes straight in and body checks him. You see chances like that in Australian rules football, but not in this gentleman's game. So a second bite of the cherry for David Beckham. Here he is, curls it in. I think it was Canobio who nearly flicked it past his own keeper. As it is, Roberto Carlos gets the volley. Celta somehow clear it. They've got to play it down at the edge of the area. And Beckham proving it is indeed a gentleman's game by kicking the ball out so the injured Celta player can
fans are whistling.
Have some treatment.
But
he got a Roberto Carlos volley in the bread box.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He's now made a pretty remarkable recovery, mind.
Yeah, no, I think that's why I sort of agree with fans complaining in a way. In that it seems to me players go down and you put the ball out in case there's something wrong with them, but too often players go down and there really isn't. Although on that occasion, let's face it, you get cracked there by Roberto Carlos volley. Well, it's going to hurt, isn't it?
You think so? Baiano doing something pretty sporty actually. Quite often you see players return possession, which you have to do, but quite often they return it deep in the other side's half.
He pretty much put it straight out.
Yeah, which is good. Madrid building from the back again. Gravesen to Beckham. Roberto Carlos, poor control. Maybe if you want to go back to the Celta story.
Yeah, the Celta got promoted.
3 or 4 weeks from the end of the season.
3 or 4 weeks from the end of the season, huge celebrations in the town and so on. Everyone was very excited. And then it turned out that one of the games they'd won was the points had been taken off them. Because they were waiting for the final decision. The points had been taken off them and they weren't up at all.
Basically, it was because they'd fielded an there's a very...
For 2 minutes or something ludicrous. It was virtually nothing.
But it was actually quite a long time. He played the whole game, but it's a very complicated rule. Basically, I think if somebody had come up from the B team and they can't do so in the last 10 games of the season or something like that, and he'd been playing regularly.
And so they went up, everyone celebrated, then they had those points removed from them. They weren't up, and actually there was a chance they might still not make it.
When in the last game of the season, needing a win to be certain of going up.
Because they had Eibar breathing down their necks.
Eibar, that would have been a miracle.
Oh, wow.
That would have been the footballing miracle of all time.
It really would have been,
But I think it was that young man there, number 4, Borja Urbina, who's on the ball, who is now eligible to play, who was the player who was ineligible. I may be wrong, but
I think you're right.
Placente. Irini gets it back, the Brazilian. Gustavo López thought about first-time cross. Sends it to Canobio. Neat footwork there from the Uruguayan. Canobio. Antonio Núñez. Good chance to cross the ball. Great cross, Salgado clears.
Not a good cross at all, to be honest, from them.
Gustavo López again. Just took a little bit of pressure off Celta as we're at the half hour in the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. It is, at the moment, Real Madrid 0, Celta Vigo 1. The goal scored by Contreras. Just 7 minutes into the game. Since then, it's all been Madrid.
Oh, it has, entirely.
Pinto made a good save. We've seen several flashes of brilliance from the man who's just been bundled over there, Robinho. But still, Madrid have got to get that breakthrough.
Actually, incidentally, Baptista is now right at the very top with Ronaldo. I don't know if that's just because he's sort of naturally drifting there, or if Luxemburgo has told him to do that, or if there's just some sort of interchange of players. But
good ball over the top. Beckham, can he get the finish in, Beckham? Went for the cross back rather than shooting. Maybe he should have shot there, Beck.
Maybe he should, not least because I think Pinto judged judged that really quite badly. He left himself pretty badly sold out, and you know, Beckham, if he knocked it over him instead of trying to go across, knocked it over him and gone for goal, he might well have scored. Pinto was just quick enough to give him not much of an angle.
He forced him into a quick decision. There is Beckham. Ooh, that wasn't far away.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Just has time to control it, pick his spot. You can't allow Beckham to do that because he hits the ball so well with that right foot.
Yeah, the entire Celta side just need to press Madrid up a little bit, get that tiny bit tighter to him. That's what Fernando Vázquez will be thinking.
Exactly. He might also be thinking, could this be the day I get away with it?
Well, I'm sure he's thinking to himself that they won't concede 7 this time, and it would be one hell of a turnaround from Raúl.
Well, they've only got about 1 goal every 6 or 7 minutes now, or 7 minutes. Ball through the middle. Pinto, probably 8 or 9 actually, is on the complete mess of my mathematics.
Well, yeah, I think I'll leave the maths to you because you might be bad at it, but I'm sure I'm worse.
8.5, I think. 8.5 minutes. Which wouldn't be bad, would it?
Well, this side are capable of doing it.
Oh, wow. Pinto sending it long. Once again, Bayano battling against Ivan Helguera. Tries to win the foul. Instead, it's Irini who's just been clipped from behind.
Yeah, it was actually quite a nasty one from Baptista. I think he just caught the back of it and around the Achilles, I think. Look, he just sort of kind of taps him on the Achilles.
Taking it quickly. He's wasted. Gravesen just stands strong. Guti, lovely pass. Baptista. Beckham, Guti. He's got Robinho outside, and here is Robinho. A little bit of expectation every time he gets the ball. Good challenge from Sergio.
Very, very good challenge from Sergio.
Núñez haven't got any options except the long pass to Bayano, who's controlled it reasonably well under pressure from Helguera, but the ball breaks to Míchel Salgado. Back with Beckham. And Robinho. Guti. Well, there was some late contact there outside
so
the area.
late that I was watching a different part of the game.
Beckham chipping the ball over. Contreras gets a challenge in. Angel flicks it on.
It's a bad challenge from Beckham.
Yeah.
I mean, Beckham's furious, but there's absolutely no doubt that there was some contact on Angel and that Beckham was pretty late. I mean,
Just gets him in the back.
Yeah. Really see what Beckham's complaining about. I think Celta, because of the rigidity of the way they're playing, with the back four's quite straight, quite flat, and then the 4 in front of them is also quite flat. What they're doing is they're playing to a zone rather than playing as players, and in fact they're kind of allowing Robinho to come back a little bit too freely to pick up the ball. Sometimes I think one of those players needs to follow him out because he's coming back, picking the ball up, turning. All right, he's then got 2 banks of 4 in front of him, but he's being allowed to turn, and that's when he's going to be really, really dangerous.
Yeah, you're never quite sure what he's going to do. I always expect him to take the player on, but he showed with a shot earlier on that he's also quite prepared to shoot. And of course that just keeps Celta guessing. Here he is. There is Robinho. Wow, what a great little turn. Good save though by Pinto.
Fantastic turn, but again, we saw this exactly what I'm saying, but while they've defended him pretty well when they've had him running at them, Celta, they have allowed him to go and get the ball far too easily.
I think we are going to see a lot of entertainment with this young lad, young man though.
Yeah. And between him and Ronaldinho at Barcelona, we'll have quite a lot of fun this year.
The only thing that worries me about Robinho is he just look a little bit lightweight. I think there's some grounds where he's going to go in January, February, where he'll get kicked, quite frankly.
Madrid do, of course, now have a specialist nutritionist with the squad, Patricia Teixeira, who came in with Luxembourg, who is preparing diets for all the players, and I'm sure that beefing up Robinho, probably quite literally, will be part of that plan.
Baptista. Was he caught? The referee gives a penalty.
Well, I didn't think he was caught, to be honest, and the linesman didn't put his flag up, and the linesman, it seems to me, was probably the one with the best view of that, and the referee...
Our referee was a long way away on the other side of the penalty area.
Yeah, the weird thing was that the referee did appear to look across the linesman, and given that the linesman's flag was down, I don't really understand why he looked across if he was going to give it anyway.
Gustavo López out complaining. Looks like Ronaldo's going to step up. Placente, let's have a look. Just catches his foot, just catches his left foot.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, I think.
Here's Ronaldo, easy 1-0.
Say, for what it's worth, I think Baptista's body weight and the direction he was going
just
in
a little bit off balance.
I don't think he would have probably fallen anyway.
Well, as was Placente just caught Baptista there. Referee pointed to the spot. Ronaldo steps up. He tends not to miss, does he? Not from 12 yards. So, after all that defending, Madrid equalised from the penalty spot.
Well, I mean, we've seen it happen a lot with Madrid when they've not been particularly inspired and they've had penalties that have been kind of rather sillily given away. I mean, that really, or more to the point in that case, unluckily given away. Because, as I say, I think Baptista probably, because of the momentum, would have fallen anyway.
Just caught him though, Diego Placente. Annoying for Celta that though, because they've done a lot of hard work and you can see the soft goal like that.
Yeah, really frustrating for them, really frustrating. And a bit of a let-off for Madrid, to be honest, because for all the play, you know,
a couple of chances, a couple of good chances.
If they'd got to half-time still 1-0, they might have started to be a little bit panicky. Now I think they'll be really confident.
Yeah, exactly. It's just what they need. It's 37 minutes, just approaching the 38th minute here in the Santiago Bernabéu. It's Real Madrid 1. Ronaldo from the penalty spot. Celta Vigo 1. Luxemburgo with a walkie-talkie in his hand. There's been a bit of talk a couple of weeks ago whether or not he would actually make his players, a couple of his players wear an earpiece, but that's not been allowed by the federation rules. But he does love these technologies, Luxemburgo. Gravesen.
He's coming for quite a lot of criticism for the earpiece suggestion. But as he pointed out, he wouldn't be there all game, commentating the game to them. He'd be just occasionally giving instructions.
Like someone in the cycling team, for example. I mean, they use it in American football, I think. But obviously it's a bit more technical, isn't it? Free kick for Celta. Not great from Gravesen, is there?
No, Gravesen just doing that. Just made sure.
Just a little tug on his shirt, Gustavo López said, thank you very much, over I go. Lining up the free kick. Or Canobio. I suspect Irene though, Canobio's more left-footed, isn't he? Just sure that wall
would make sense to be a right-footed effort, but
indeed, Irene. Through the first wall, I think it was Salgado who cleared it though.
Quite honestly, a very poor free kick.
Bayano, good ball though to Núñez. He's got there ahead of Pavón there, Núñez into the penalty area! And once again, a desperate clearance from Helguera.
Pavón's a little bit lucky that he didn't catch
Núñez, yeah.
Because that was a penalty in waiting.
Good run there. I wonder what he's done to the back of his head there, Roberto Carlos.
I think he's nicked himself, Shane. I really do.
Canobio, Casillas.
Either that way, he's got a really horrible spot, so he doesn't want anyone to see it.
Helguera once again in the way. And, Robinho just flicks the ball over Sergio there. Now looks up to cross it, just a bit too long, and there Placente able to clear. And Sergio's always going to be favourite, I think, in the air against them.
Yeah. It's probably the one area where a player can claim that he's definitely got
the edge.
On Robinho is in the air. Sergio's about 17
That's the thing, the nutritionist might beef him up, but he's not going to make him 6 inches taller.
Great skill. Again, though, they are just allowing him to pick the ball up rather alone.
But I think one of the things is he's just so hard to pin down.
Of course, he's floating all over the
The only
pitch.
way you can maybe stop him is just to put someone man-to-man on him. But teams tend not to do that so much these days. Núñez again. Roberto Carlos this time gets the block in.
But given the positions Núñez has been in, he's been very disappointing in the deliveries tonight. He's had 4 or 5 chances to put in decent crosses, and then that one run into the box as well. He's not really delivered yet.
And he has had a bit of space. Looking quickly, Canobio tells that one towards the far post, and that was never going to trouble Casillas. It wasn't as far away as it looked. I was thinking about Casillas. He's conceded the goal, but he hasn't actually had to make a save as such.
No, not yet. I'm sure a save will come at some stage. Rare is the game that Casillas has nothing to do at all.
No.
The nature of Real Madrid, the way they attack means that they do so often. Well, have to rely on Casillas basically.
So Ronaldo showing he can do the clever turns. It's a return from Baptista, about Robinho through the middle. Ronaldo, good challenge from Sergio.
Great challenge. And actually, I thought Ronaldo was offside, but
yeah, I thought there was a question, but
more importantly, all the way through that move, I watched the 4 of the Celta backline and the 4 of the Celta midfield come together to make 8, and not one of them went anywhere near Robinho. Robinho was floating on the left-hand side all the way through that move. No one even took any notice of it.
So perhaps a question that they sort of go back and it's more in defending in one line rather than 2 lines.
Well, that's what happens.
Lack a little bit of defensive depth.
Exactly. The midfield 4 are coming in almost to join the defensive 4.
Yeah, it's just picture Salgado creaming in, really.
It's a very good tackle.
It was lucky one.
It's 2 very good tackles as well,
just
wasn't it?
Sticks up the foot, doesn't he, Sergio? Yeah, Salgado decisive against Gustavo López. Guti, who's moved things along nicely for Madrid, just slips it to Roberto Carlos, who's got a bit of space ahead of him. Decides instead to give it to Guti. Looks up Guti. Straight against Baiano. Yeah, obstruction. That it was Irini, but I think that's a correct decision from the referee. I mean, he'll say that Guti went into his back. It looks like, but he basically just seems to not look for the ball there, the midfielder. As it is, Sad have got away with it. Although Gustavo López has been dispossessed by Helguera. Looks up Helguera, and that's a good ball, Baptista! 2-1, they've turned it around. They don't need many chances, do they?
They don't need many chances, and, you know, we talk about the attacking quality of this side, but that was even Helguera who delivered that cross, and it was a perfect cross. That said, Celta, not for the first time tonight, ran themselves into trouble, gave the ball away cheaply,
well,
and it had Baptista and Ronaldo on the left-hand side of the Celta defence. No one anywhere near them.
Well, if you look at that, Gustavo López, you don't see it there, just gives the ball away. Helguera looks up, and once again,
Celta,
there's
2 of them, and there's no one anywhere near them.
Because Celta were going forward, half couple of them out of position. Great cross, and there is the beast.
It's a brilliant cross. It is a brilliant cross. That is as good a cross as Beckham would have produced.
Because it's a diagonal cross as well, isn't it? You know, diagonal crosses are normally meat and drink to the defence.
It's a great cross. It really is. And Celta, well, they started pretty brightly, but they've actually caused themselves problems time and time again.
I'm sure Fernando Vázquez is going to be in there in the dressing room, just furious with them at half-time. Former English teacher Vázquez, by the way.
Furious with him in English.
Probably won't understand him, unfortunately. But in many ways, 2 soft goals. A penalty that didn't really need to be committed.
2 very soft goals.
And a loss of possession that was pointless, as Míchel Salgado talks himself into the referee's book. First booking of the evening.
Another man we'll see tomorrow, certainly in the Brazil game. Ramírez, Domínguez.
Also from the Andalusian college.
It's a pretty obvious foul.
It's a foul, and if it's a booking, it's always given a penalty.
Well, I must admit, I think that's a poor decision.
We'll have a look. Let's wait till we see it again. We've got 2 minutes of injury time and a booking for Pavón.
As you say, let's wait and see it again.
My
initial reaction.
Hang on, the penalty or not? We'll have a look to the replay. Let's have a look.
That's a handball he's giving it for, I think. You can't book a player for a handball like that. It's quite clearly accidental.
But he's jumped with his arm in the air. I think that is a penalty. It's unlucky.
I think it's a penalty.
It's a penalty.
It's very unlucky. In fact, it's a bit like the penalty at the other end. A bit like the penalty at the other end. It's a silly penalty.
He's jumped. They both jumped up. Yeah, I mean, they both actually got their arms tangled.
But I think it's very, very harsh to get a yellow card out.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it's the typical. Canobio, Casillas, and whoa! How unlucky was Casillas, and Antonio Núñez has put the ball in the net against his former club.
Well, we were saying before, weren't we? It won't be long until Casillas makes a save, and he nearly made 2 great saves.
Yeah, exactly.
He so nearly got. Antonio Núñez's header was actually not all that convincing. It was all he could do just to get his head on the ball, and it sort of spun into the net. Poor old Casillas.
That is heartbreaking for me. Look at this. It's a really good save because he hits it hard. Man, that is so close. Oof. So, it's 2-2 in the Santiago Bernabéu. And
that's a great save.
Yeah.
Because he has to.
And then Núñez doesn't really hit it with that much conviction, does he? But Celta back on level terms.
Wow, what a game we've got on our hands.
Well, 4 goals. We did say 1 goal every 8 minutes, didn't we? So 8.5. I think since we said that, it's been more than that. So yeah, but we'll just go back to the booking for Pavón, though. It's the typical thing. Yeah, it is a penalty, but just because it's a foul and a penalty, why is he booking him? You don't need to book him as well.
But a booking is supposed to be about punishing intent. You know, when punishing particularly bad challenges, punishing intent, punishing things that are not punished by the basic rules of the game. Now, obviously, the punishment is the penalty. There is absolutely no need, unless he considers the handball deliberate.
And I don't think it is.
If he considers the handball deliberate, the card should probably be red anyway. I think that's a terrible decision.